Hello, I'm Ian, and this is Somerset News Network. Starmer has just gone over to the EU, to Brussels, and got a deal. Not a good deal. He's declared free movement of people between 18 and 30, between Britain and Europe. He's allowed the French to fish in our waters. And God knows what else he's allowed to happen. The full ramifications of what exactly he's done hasn't been reported yet. No vote in Parliament. No vote by the people. When Ted Heath wanted to take us into the EU, well, it wasn't the EU then, it wasn't the European Union, it was the common market, which sounded great, and people voted yes to it. I was 18 at the time, and I thought, very odd. You know, why should you have to have nations together? Why can't they just agree to do it without a vote? That's what I thought when I was 18. Anyway, the country voted yes. So Ted Heath had a mandate to go in to the EU, which was then the common market. Then became the European Union, the EU, which we have now. John Major signed something called the Maastricht Treaty. No vote by the people. That was a disaster. Now we've got Starmer going across and redoing everything that we voted for. We voted for Brexit. The British people voted for Brexit. I was talking to one of the people who were involved with the Leave EU campaign, and I tried to get her on tape. I tried to do an interview with her. I said, you've got to say this publicly. She said, I'm afraid for my life. I said, oh, come on, they won't do anything like that. She said, don't you believe it? Anyway, she told me, off the record, as they say, that she was at one of the counts and she wanted to go to the loo. So she walked out of the hall to try and find the loo. And she thought it would be through one of the other doors. So she went through this, opened this door up, and there was tables laid out with people filling blank vote papers in to remain in the EU. She was shocked. She said, oh, I'm looking for the loo, and they told her which door it was. So they tried to fix the vote. Rumour has it that they tried to use the postal votes to do it. Now, we know elections have been rigged before in Birmingham. There was 2 councillors that went to court for rigging the vote. What they were doing was they were using their friends in social services to go to the disabled and elderly, get them to have a postal vote, and then when the postal vote came, they would take them and say, oh, don't worry about that, I'll look after that for you, and then fill it in for the Labour Party. They got 2 years, each of them, for rigging the elections. So they tried to rig Brexit. They told us in the press that it was too close to call. It was 1% one way, 1% the other way. And the polls that they were doing was 300 people. I think the biggest one I saw from the newspaper was 1,500 people. But it was still within margin of error of 1 or 2%. And they were saying, oh, it's too close to call, too close to call. There was an online petition. It had 80,000 votes. Now, I would have said that was a better poll than any of the newspaper polls. It had an 80% leave vote. And I think that there were so many people that voted to leave the EU, they couldn't rig it fast enough. And that's why we won. That's what I think. It's my interpretation of it, with information that I've received. Now, Starmer's gone over, and although we have voted to leave the EU, Starmer has no mandate to get rid of Brexit. He's got no mandate to have this deal, if you want to call it that, with the EU. No vote in Parliament. We haven't had a vote on it. If we're going to go back in the EU, there should be a referendum. We don't need a referendum because we had one and we voted to leave. The problem is, how do you stop Starmer? And is he being blackmailed by dark forces that we don't know because of his little secrets? This smells, and I mean it reeks. How do we stop Starmer? My next video, this is only a little short one, my next video I'm going to explain how you can lobby your MP. And it's up to us, the people that voted Brexit, to now stand up and do our bit. Next video, how to lobby your MP.